The camera flickers, the lights are dim but not dark. Joel Osteen sits in a simple chair, not the grand stage of Lakewood Church, but a quiet corner where his emotions are finally allowed to speak louder than his famously rehearsed smile. And for the first time in a long while, his words aren't filtered through careful optimism. They tremble, they hesitate, and they hurt. Because today he isn't just a pastor, he's a son remembering his mother. The world knows her as Dodie Osteen, the co-founder of Lakewood Church, a miracle survivor, an author, a prayer warrior, a mother not only to Joel and his siblings, but also to thousands who felt seen, heard, and loved by her mere presence. And now that she's gone from this world, the void she left behind feels like a wound that still hasn't healed. But as Joel breaks down, what becomes clear is this: Mama Dodie is still alive. Not in the physical realm, but in the beating hearts of every soul she ever touched. A legacy beyond life. Dodie Osteen wasn't just Joel Osteen's mother. She was the spiritual backbone of one of the largest churches in America. Long before Joel became the face of Lakewood, it was Dodie, alongside her late husband John Osteen, who laid the foundation of faith, perseverance, and boundless compassion. Born in an era when women in ministry were either sidelined or silenced, Dodie quietly built a reputation not by preaching from the pulpit, but by serving behind the scenes. Her prayers, her handwritten letters to church members, her soft-spoken yet unshakable faith. It was this consistent love that made people trust Lakewood Church. She was never loud, but she was unforgettable, and though she is no longer physically among us, those who knew her or even heard her speak once claim they can still feel her warmth, as if she's still alive. Joel's shocking confession, the video clip that now circulates widely on social media, begins with a long pause. Joel Osteen is visibly shaken, dabbing his white handkerchief, his voice barely above a whisper. "I walked into her room yesterday," he says, "and for a second I felt she'd call my name again. It's strange, she's not here anymore, but somehow she is everywhere." The congregation had expected Joel to give a composed tribute. Instead, he shared raw emotion, tears, stammers, and a kind of grief that doesn't look polished. He wasn't Joel the televangelist. He was Joel the son, broken in the face of losing a woman who never truly left. "She taught me that death isn't the end," he added. "It's just a doorway. And now that she's passed through it, she's closer than ever, not in body, but in spirit. In my sermons, in our worship, and in every single person she loved." When faith and grief collide in religious communities, especially ones led by charismatic pastors like Joel, there's often pressure to grieve with hope. But what Joel's breakdown made clear is that hope doesn't cancel grief, and grief doesn't erase faith. "People expect us to just smile and say she's in a better place," Joel said later in a private follow-up message to his staff. "But what they don't understand is how much I miss her voice, her advice, her prayers. And yet, when I close my eyes, I can still feel her praying for me." For Joel, Mama Dodie wasn't just a spiritual giant, she was his lifeline, the one who believed in him when critics mocked his untrained preaching, the one who stood in the front row every Sunday, quietly nodding with encouragement as he found his voice after his father's death. To lose such a figure is to lose a part of oneself, but it's also a chance to see how deeply their essence remains alive in the impact they left behind. Messages from across the world. In the days following Joel's emotional breakdown, messages flooded Lakewood Church from every corner of the globe. Not just condolences, but stories. An elderly woman from Brazil wrote, "I've never met Mama Dodie, but when I was diagnosed with cancer, I watched her video testimony every night. Her story gave me hope when I had none. I'm cancer-free now, and I still whisper her name every night before bed." A young pastor in Kenya said, "We don't have much here, but every Sunday we played Dodie's healing prayers before service. Her voice healed more than our sickness, it healed our fear." A prison inmate in Texas wrote, "I saw her once on TV, just once, but the way she prayed, it made me cry for the first time in 15 years." These are not just testimonials, these are proofs, living, breathing evidence that Mama Dodie is still alive, in miracles, in memories, in millions. A mother to the broken. While Joel may have lost a mother, the world lost a nurturer of broken souls. Dodie Osteen didn't care for fame. She never chased a spotlight. Her ministry wasn't built on social media strategies or viral sermons. It was built in hospital rooms, in silent tears, in prayers whispered at midnight. Every letter she wrote was personal. Every person she prayed for felt like they were the only one in the room. She made people feel seen, even when they were invisible to the rest of the world. "Sometimes I wondered if Mama Dodie was even human," one Lakewood member said. "She remembered everyone's name. She remembered your pain. And when she prayed for you, you felt like heaven had stopped to listen." This unique gift of loving the unseen is why she can never truly die. Because love like that doesn't fade with funerals. Joel's quiet return to the pulpit. A week after his emotional video, Joel returned to the pulpit, not with a bold message, but a gentle one. He began by reading from 2 Timothy 4:7, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Then he looked up, eyes soft with memory. My mother fought that fight. She ran that race. And though her body rests, her faith marches on. Through us. The congregation erupted in quiet applause. Some wept, some smiled. Many whispered prayers of gratitude. Not for the message, but for the messenger who helped raise Joel Osteen into who he is today. Why her death feels so personal for many. Dodie's passing feels more painful than expected. It's not just because she was a public figure, it's because she was a personal one. People felt like they knew her, because she made sure they did. She didn't have the grandeur of most modern preachers. She had something rarer, sincerity. And in a world full of filters, fake smiles, and curated religion, Dodie's authenticity was healing. Continuing her work. Lakewood Church has since announced that a special memorial ministry will be created in honor of Dodie Osteen. This initiative will continue her legacy of handwritten letters, hospital visits, and personalized prayer. Joel described it as her heartbeat continuing through us. Every person she touched is now a carrier of her spirit, he said. And every time you love someone quietly, serve someone gently, or pray without needing applause, that's Mama Dodie living again. A symbol of enduring love. What made Mama Dodie unforgettable wasn't the miracles she received, it was the miracles she gave. Surviving liver cancer in 1981 was a miracle, but choosing to spend her remaining decades helping others believe in their own healing? That was divine. She became a living testimony of what it means to believe when there's nothing left to believe in. And in doing so, she gave others the courage to do the same. The emotional outro, her spirit still speaks final 2,000 words. Even now, long after the funeral, people are reporting strange but comforting moments. A nurse at the Houston Medical Center claims she walked past the chapel late at night and smelled Dodie's signature perfume, soft, floral, and full of peace. A church volunteer said she had a dream where Dodie held her hand and whispered, "Don't stop praying, I'm still here." Joel himself admitted, in a hushed interview, "Sometimes when I sit alone in my office, I hear the same gentle hum she used to sing when she prayed. I know it's not logical, but I know it's her." These moments, whether spiritual or psychological, point to one truth: death ends a life, but not a legacy. The final lesson she left behind, Mama Dodie didn't fear death. She saw it as a reunion, not a goodbye. And if she were here today, she'd likely say, "Don't cry for me too long, I'm with Jesus now. But more importantly, I'm still with you. Every time you pray, every time you trust God when it's hard." Her message was never about her, it was always about hope. She didn't want people to worship her memory, she wanted them to live their own miracles, to be the testimony, just like she was. In our hearts, she lives forever, so yes, Mama Dodie is gone, but also she's not. Because she is in the handwritten prayer tucked into a hospital gown, the quiet woman whispering over her child at night, the broken man who finds strength to believe again, the pastor who preaches with tears, not just words, the millions who remember how one small woman made them feel seen by God. Joel Osteen's tears weren't a sign of weakness, they were a sign that love outlives everything, even death. And as long as someone prays in her name, Dodie Osteen will never truly be gone. She is still alive. She is still here. She is still loved. Forever and always, Mama Dodie. As the sun sets behind the towering glass of Lakewood Church and the sanctuary quiets after yet another Sunday service, there is a sense that something, or rather someone, still lingers in the room. It's not just nostalgia. It's not just memory. It's the unmistakable presence of a woman whose physical life has ended, but whose spiritual imprint cannot and will not be erased. Because Mama Dodie Osteen is still alive. She's alive in the tearful whispers of mothers clutching their Bibles, drawing strength from her cancer testimony. She's alive in the smile of every volunteer who goes unseen but keeps serving because that's what Mama Dodie would have done. She's alive in Joel Osteen's voice when he pauses mid-sermon, lost in thought, not about a verse, but about her steady hand on his shoulder during the hardest nights. She's alive in every hospital room where a nurse leaves a prayer card behind. In every jail cell where an inmate remembers her saying, "God hasn't forgotten you." In every whispered blessing uttered by people who never met her, yet somehow knew her. And perhaps most powerfully, she's alive in you, the one reading this, the one who carries her story forward by choosing love over anger, faith over fear, hope over despair. Death did not.
I love my kids that make the huge difference. that bring us the joy.
When the world heard of Dodie's passing, many assumed it was the end of a chapter, but those who truly knew her or were touched by her spirit understood something deeper. Death didn't take her away. It only spread her further. What once was confined to a physical body is now limitless, like wind through the trees, like a melody in worship, like the warmth that fills a room when someone says her name. Her body may have returned to the earth, but her essence was never made of flesh. It was made of prayer, of persistence, of pure, relentless love. And love, as we know, doesn't die. It multiplies. The strength behind Joel. For decades, millions saw Joel Osteen as the smiling, polished, positive pastor who built a global platform of faith. But behind the light, there was a lamp, a steady flame that never flickered, no matter the storm. That lamp was his mother. She wasn't loud about it. She didn't chase microphones or headlines, but she prayed over every step he took. She fasted when others doubted him. She reminded him that success isn't measured by applause, but by obedience. Even now, as Joel grieves, you can feel her voice in his pause, her spirit in his smile. She built a foundation he still stands on. And when he breaks down, as he did on camera, it's not a weakness, but a tribute. A son's open wound that proves how deeply he was loved. Her lasting message.